Gearheads. I'm here today with the 1997 Jeep Cherokee, and we're going to be fixing a very common issue with all of the Jeep XJ Cherokees, and it's probably common with most of the other Jeeps and a lot of other Chrysler products as well. They're not really known to have good wiring and good electronics, which leads me to this. For the last, I don't know, 4 years, all the random things in this thing have been slowly going out, including the locks, random windows, and by the way, it's not all the locks, 1 or 2 locks, some of the windows start working, stop working, stop working, start working, and then ultimately just stop working altogether. And actually last year, my wife and I went down to Mexico, and the passenger side window completely stopped working, and I had to modify the wiring in the car because the motor's still fine, and the switch in the passenger side is also still fine. So I had to modify the wiring so that we could still roll that window up and down just from the passenger side. The problem is the way the factory sets it up, all of the windows in the whole car and all the locks in the whole car run through the switch that's in the driver's door, which is this guy right here. So if you have a 4-door Cherokee, or even a 2-door, it's still the same thing, but you just don't have to worry about the back. You've got 4 switches, you've got your locks, a window lock button, and this controls your mirrors. That hasn't worked on this for a while either. But I know for a fact that this is going bad simply because when I, jumped the wiring for the passenger side, it worked. Whereas if it was hooked up to this, it didn't. So that's not necessarily a complete diagnosis of why my driver's side rear one sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. The passenger side rear one doesn't work at all, and some of the locks, actually all the locks sometimes do and don't work. But I have a pretty dang good idea that this is the cause of all of it, and I know for a fact it's going bad, at least just because of that one window that I was able to jump. So let's go ahead and replace this, and I'm also going to show you guys the wiring that I did for that in case for some reason you're stuck somewhere and you need to get just that one window working, because I don't know if it'll work for the rear ones too. But at least it worked for that one, and I'm gonna have to put it back so that it'll work with this, because what I did was disable the connection to this thing. I just jumped it back to itself so that it would work. So let's go ahead and throw this thing in. It's not a hard project to do at all. Shouldn't take us very long. Oh, and also check the description. I'll put a couple links to parts down there so you guys can pick out what you need. If you just end up needing a couple actual switches themselves, that's not too bad either, or window regulators. This one ran me about $90 or so, but controls all the locks, all the door windows, fine. Guess I had to pay it. Let's start putting it in. All right, so we have a few screws to take out of the door panel here, and it should be able to just pop off. We're gonna have to pop all the separate things around here. A panel popper works. Sadly, I don't have one here with me, but I have a small pry bar, or you can use the decently sized flathead screwdriver as well. So let's get started. On the bottom side of the door, there's gonna be 3 screws. It looks like the one on my door here is actually missing. And then I've got this one here. One here. There we go. That was a little harder to reach for some reason. All right, so these 3, and then you're gonna wanna take this guy out right here. I don't remember, does that pop off? No. Okay.
It should.
It won't though.
Okay.
And then after that, you're gonna start popping things out of the door. You don't wanna pull on this because this will break. You can see somebody's already messed with this one at least, or maybe someone kicked it getting out of the car. But I can actually use my hands so far here. There's gonna be pop tabs all the way around holding it in, and then at the top it's going to be held into the sill, so you lift up once you get all those loose. So come on. All right, let me try on this side a little bit. Where are you? There we go. Right there. All right, maybe there is actually a screw in this hole here, because this thing seems to be sticking still. There might be a screw in there because this backside seems to be kind of sticking still, even though, oh hey, look at that. So it just had gotten sucked in past the door, or past the arm trim here. But there is a screw in there still, so I still need to take that guy out. Look at that, pushed itself back past the plastic. There we go. All right, now this should come free. There we go. That should be all of them. And then once you get those guys out, go ahead and lift up on the door, or the door panel. There we go. All right, so the door panel's off, and you're gonna have to disconnect these guys here. You should be able to pop these. The way these guys go on is they slip over. You should be able to pop them back. If you can't use your fingers, try using just a screwdriver to just pop them off. Come on, baby. There we go. Not very easy to push, but then you should be able to pull that one out, and it's the same one for this here. I'm just gonna use this to push on it. I'm not prying against the door with this, by the way. I'm just using it instead of my fingers because I can push a little bit better with it. Just to pop it loose, over, and this one lifts up. There we go. And then we've just got these electrical connectors over here to worry about. Just push down on the button, pull it, push on the button. Come on. It'll come. It's coming. There we go. All right, door panel's off. All right, with the door panel off, you just need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you got 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top to take this thing out. All right, and this should just pull off the back side. And there's our old switch right there. It's funny how dirty it is up here, but on the back, you could almost swear it was a brand new connector, huh? It's so clean. But it doesn't work. So here I got my brand new one. Just goes in the exact same way. So hopefully we can slip this thing in real fast. And I will go ahead and lift the door panel back up and just plug this in real quick and test that all of it works before fully installing the door. All right. So key on. I know for a fact that the passenger front one probably won't work because I already had modified it. But oh, well look at that. It actually does work, even though I changed the wiring. That's interesting.
That's cool.
But it works, and it still works from here. Well, I'll go down there and look at what I did, and I'll show you guys in case you need to hotwire yours. There we go. That one works. There we go. That one works. It goes up and down. And here's the big test. The rear passenger one, I'll go down so you guys can see. The rear passenger one has not worked for I think like 2 or 3 years. So let's see if this one goes down. Oh, it doesn't work. Bummer. All right, that one probably needs a switch replaced, which is okay. But hey, now that I know I at least have a new multi-switch up here, it'll be easier to diagnose that one. So we'll figure that out a little bit later. It's not the end of the world that it doesn't work, but let me see if it works from here though. Yeah, nothing. That one's not doing anything. It's just dead for now. So I don't know. It could be a bad switch, or it could be a bad window regulator / motor. But hey, at least all other 3 of them work now because they were not before. So putting the door back together is the same way it came apart. Just make sure you get all your pins placed back into the door panel itself first, and then pop it back into the door itself. Get your screws in, you're good to go. And then I'll show you guys the wires down here if I can in a second for how I modified that one to work. All right guys, so I took this panel off, which sits down next to your left foot when you're driving in this thing. It's just 2 screws, one down here and one a little bit up higher to the left, 2 Phillips heads. Now here is what I did to make this thing work when the master switch did not work. At least I had the front window one working. If you come right down here, like I showed you, into the footwell, there's this one going horizontally, and then this white one here at an angle. And I don't know if you can see this, but I actually literally just have a rolled up clothespin that's sitting in there that's been jumping these 2 wires. Let me pull it out. And yeah, that's it right there. I literally had that thing just jumping these 2 wires, and it was is that a brown and a yellow it looks like on those? Brown and a yellow. I'm not recommending this, especially leaving it for any length of time. Personally, I left this for over a year, jumped like that. That's not safe, honestly. It could potentially lead to something shorting out if there's another issue, and you don't want to start a fire just because you neglected to be, thinking ahead and doing things the right way. But it did work temporarily if you just need to jump it to get your passenger side window up. But I'm going to pull it back out because now it works just fine. It's a little slow. This thing probably needs new motors. They're all pretty old. But at least they all work for now. Except for that one back there. Bummer. Alright guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you found it helpful. This is a super common problem with these Jeeps for those multifunction switches there to be going out. It's also common for all the other ones to fail too. So don't necessarily just assume because one of your windows stops working that it's that guy. I just knew that that's what it was because of the intermittent issues with the other ones and the fact that that one started working when I jumped that wire. So that, at least for me, told me that that was wrong, what was wrong with it. It needed to be replaced anyways, but obviously, hey, didn't fix all of it. I still have to diagnose a problem with the rear passenger one, and I need to figure out whether it's the motor or the switch back there. And I don't remember the way the wiring works on this car. I'm pretty sure it's the motor because I think this switch provides its own power to it, so even if that switch was dead, it should still work from this one. I could be wrong though. I'm gonna have to look that up and read through the wiring diagram and see exactly how it works. But either way, at least I have mostly working windows now. It's a lot better than it was before. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop a comment down in the description. And if you guys want to see more videos with the Jeep, we also got videos with the Miatas, we got videos with the Bug, we got other random things that are gonna be coming through more often now as well. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And as always, keep wrenching.